Hi, friends. It's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American politics, and we're going to talk about Neil Brennan and an absolutely astounding political statement he made on his Blocks podcast. Um, it's absolutely fascinating. So let's listen to it. Okay, so first of all, if you don't know, Neil Brennan, he has this Blocks podcast. I have listened to many, so he goes on, he brings in a guest, and he does his homework. He sends like a script to them and says, "Give me your blocks," and these are mental health issues that they want to discuss. It's just a really unusual structure for a podcast. Some guests send him the blocks and they're ready to talk about them. Other people, like Natasha Leone, went on and she didn't do her homework, right? So she's like, "What am I here for?" And so you'll get different like adherence from different guests. Natasha Leone was still a great interview, right? But it's really fascinating. So he has this podcast and he sits down and he talks with people. And I'm not even going to tell you who his guest was when he said this one thing. And the reason why is it's not really apropos to what he said. But it was a shocking statement, an absolutely shocking statement. I think he's dead on right with the shape of what he said, if not the gears. Like the machine is running. I think I might have ordered the gears differently. All right. So what did he say? Absolutely fascinating. So he said, I think in 3 years, actually, he said, I think in 5 years, there'll only be three countries. What? He's like, yeah. And basically, every other country will just say, we can't actually field an army, right? And then they'll just line up with the countries who can. And I was like, what? Like, it was one of the most shocking things I've ever heard. And this is why I listen to Neil Brennan. He's a comedian who is giving way better political punditry than anybody you will find hired by CNN, Wall Street Journal, or the New York Times, right? Like they could fire all of their political pundits today, hire Neil Brennan, and he would have more relevant, more useful things to say, which is shocking. And actually that's its own video, but I want to talk about this. So and then and so what would be the three countries, right? So he said America, 100%, right? I think we spend more, actually, I don't think we spend more on our military than I think, like you could take 75% of the countries in the world, and I think we outspend 75% of the countries, right? Like it's an astonishing amount, right? It's actually about $800 billion a year, I think is the exact number, which is like 80% of $1 trillion, right? Like that's a huge amount of money every single year, right? So that's just absolutely incredible, right? So at that point, I think he's 100% correct that he is 100% correct that that amount that is he's definitely 100% correct about America, right? Now, the other two countries that he listed, I'm not even going to say them, and the reason why is I'm not sure he's right there, right? Like, I think there might be 5, maybe 7 countries in the world that are, and this is the thing that like really triggered my mind when I heard what he was saying. I think there's 5 to 7 countries in the world that actually have real militaries, right? And the reason why they have this um, is we've had these. So we came out of World War II. Actually, World War I was triggered from these alliance setups, right? So we've had these alliance setups for since World War I. Now the alliances have changed, right? But the idea that there's only like 5 to 7 cores, and then other countries align up with them, and so you have these alliances. And then what was happening was you had real competitors, real predators, right? Real countries that were really building real armies, right? And then you had all these free riders, right? Like these people are like, oh well, we have an alliance with this person. Put some dudes out there in a uniform, and I don't even care if they have bullets in their guns. we're not going to fight. We're just going to line up with our allies, right? And I think he's 100% right. So for a century, well, countries have been like, oh, I'm in an alliance. The alliance will, the alliance will do its thing, and then everything's square, right? And so I don't think there's more than 7 countries in the world that has 170 countries. I don't even think I don't even think there are even 10 countries in the world that have real militaries. There's 7. I think there's 7 countries in the world that have real militaries. And I think Neil Brennan is right? That, like, if you really think about war, there's only a few countries in the world that are really ready to do war, right? And the rest are just like, like they got some dudes in some uniforms, but is there anything even in their weapons? Are they even loaded? And you're like, even if they were, what would it matter? Are they trained? Is there a logistics line? And so what we really found out is that having a military is outrageously expensive. And so a ton of countries have just skipped it, right? And so I think Neil Brennan's dead on correct. That is absolutely fascinating, right? The other thing is he might be wrong about his timetable, right? So 5 years, 3 countries, right? I would say 7 to 10 years, right? And it's up to 7 different countries. But I do think he's right. It'll be 3 countries, and everybody will line up behind those 3 countries. They'll be picked out of that top 7, right? I was absolutely stunned at the quality of political punditry that's coming out of this comedian, right? Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.